I would like to welcome you today, Artem Sytnyk. You have been appointed in 2014 as head of the Anticorruption Bureau in Ukraine. Could you introduce yourself and please inform us about your past work experience in the field of anti-corruption? Also, explain the aims pursued by the Anti-Corruption Bureau.
I graduated cum laude from the Law Academy in Kharkiv in 2001, and then I worked at various prosecutors' offices in Ukraine between 2001 and 2011. I was the chief investigator at the prosecutors' offices in Kirovohrad and Kyiv regions. But in 2011 I resigned because I did not agree with the policies of President Yanukovych's administration. I practiced law for 4 years, and in 2015 I learned about an open competition for the position of director of the National Anticorruption Bureau of Ukraine. I submitted my papers, and as a result of the competition I was selected the winner. I took office on the 16th of April 2015 and started building the National Anticorruption Bureau of Ukraine as the law enforcement agency tasked with fighting corruption at the highest levels of government. The plan I have for the immediate future is to finally start the work of the Bureau, following the election of the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor of Ukraine, so we can initiate proper investigations. I hope we can do it this year. The plan for the future is to overcome corruption, or at least make some progress in fighting corruption among those persons who are within the National Anti-Corruption Bureau's jurisdiction.
NATO and allies have been assisting Ukraine for 8 years through the Building Integrity Program, and since last year, this cooperation has been further intensified. How is your work related to the Building Integrity Program?
The Bureau's main function is punitive, that is, investigation of crimes committed by high-ranking corrupt officials. At the same time, monitoring the performance of Ukraine's Ministry of Defense is a priority for us, as Ukraine's current defense budget, which in reality is the war budget, is 90 billion hryvnias. And one of our tasks is to take steps to prevent embezzlement of these funds. Therefore, the issue of integrity in the use of public funds by the armed forces of Ukraine is a priority for us.
Ukraine is currently undertaking massive reforms to tackle corruption. Today, what do integrity, accountability, and transparency represent for your country?
It's a very wide-ranging question. As to accountability, every government agency must report on its performance and the way it uses public funds. Transparency. I believe this is a key principle for government policy implementation, including the fight against corruption. What I mean that the newly established anti-corruption agencies should be formed in a transparent way, as transparency is one of the guarantees of effectiveness once these agencies start functioning. Integrity. In its narrow sense, it is the obligation for public officials to declare their revenues and expenditures. But in a broad sense, I understand it as a policy to prevent public officials from committing crimes.
The Anti-Corruption Bureau is a strong symbol of changes for your country. But how to regain the Ukrainian citizens' trust? How to involve society in the work of the Bureau to foster the culture of transparency?
First of all, I want to point out that our new anti-corruption agencies are being formed with the direct participation of civil society. I will not talk about all of them, but I can tell you about the National Anticorruption Bureau of Ukraine. The Bureau is hiring officers on a competitive basis. The competition committee of the National Anti-Corruption Bureau includes members of the Bureau's Public Council. And these people are not civil servants or politicians. They represent non-governmental organizations and civil society, and they are directly involved in the transparent formation of the anti-corruption agency. However, the mere participation of civil society in the development of anti-corruption agencies is not enough to make the public happy about the performance of these agencies. And I believe that the strategic goal of the Anti-Corruption Bureau and other anti-corruption agencies is to introduce transparent rules of the game in Ukraine that would cover everyone without exception. When that happens, a sense of justice will be restored in society, and public confidence in the anti-corruption agencies and the government in general will grow.
How to ensure that the Anti-Corruption Bureau's autonomy and authority are protected?
Thanks to the support and involvement of our Western partners in drafting the legislation on the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, it provides guarantees of the Bureau's autonomy and the protection of its officers. It establishes a special procedure for the appointment of the Bureau Director, who is not subordinated to anyone, not the Parliament, the President, or the government. The dismissal procedure includes very few grounds for the dismissal of the Director. In fact, he can be dismissed only after an independent audit concludes that his performance is inadequate. In terms of protection, the Anti-Corruption Bureau will have a special unit to provide physical protection for the employees against criminals, encroachment and pressure. The law also provides proper conditions for the remuneration of Bureau officers, and this significantly reduces corruption risks related to their work. The structure of the Bureau is such that it can be set up as a completely closed, autonomous and independent agency that will be self-reliant in conducting investigations rather than requiring the assistance of other law enforcement services or government institutions. I believe these guarantees should suffice to ensure that the agency is independent and well protected.